Hi, Fernando.
Hey, how's it going, Paulina?
Hi, good. I called you today to do just three little questions and hope you have time to answer those. And they're very simple inventory related questions. Are you ready?
I hope so. Yeah, let's go.
All right. So for a new seller who's ordering their first product, how many units you would say they should order and send to Amazon? How many? And what do you do?
Oh man. So this is an interesting question. It kind of just depends on the competitiveness of the category. So we'll kind of teach two different ways. One is you just start with a fixed amount, call it 1,000 units, 1,500 units, and then you're gonna reserve a certain buffer, maybe 100, 150 units for specifically for giveaways, and then the rest will hopefully last you 1.5, 2 months. Other people will actually kind of project out. Let's say the top three sellers on average are selling 80 units a day. We think that we can take 40% of that market share. So then that's 32 a day. And then you kind of forecast out and then add in lead times. But I think if you're just starting out, it's probably safer just to do something like that 1,000 to 1,500 range, especially considering, the price point at like the cogs of the product, and kind of just start from there.
I feel like the answers I get are usually always related within the categories that the person answering usually has experience in. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are the categories that you are talking about when you mean 1,000, 1,500?
Yeah, I mean, so for a long time we were doing less competitive categories. We sell it in a few different categories, but like home and kitchen, office. But now we're kind of moving to more competitive categories since we're more confident in our ability to sell on Amazon. So we're like entering some supplements, things like that. But yeah, that's like some of the categories that we're in right now.
Okay, all right. So you would say I shouldn't be scared to order 1,000? What if it doesn't sell? So that's my next question. What to do if it doesn't sell, and when do I know that it didn't sell? Like, do I wait a month, 2 months, 3 months? Like, what's the time frame on that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we'll know in about 6 weeks, so 45 days, if our product is a winner or a loser. And so we're tracking obviously like the daily sales rate. We're tracking like, the gross margin or contribution margin that we were able to get the product to. We're looking at the ROI specifically. And then, if it's not doing well, you still have time to, be like a little bit more aggressive on the PPC, maybe run a campaign with like a rebate key or Pixelfy or last launch or, any of those specific like kind of giveaway services. But yeah, I mean, for us, like we're pretty aggressive in terms of wanting to maximize the honeymoon period and doing like a pretty good giveaway in the beginning just to get there ranked. We're doing PPC on top of that, and then just overall giving the product the best chance for success. And if it doesn't work out, the way that we kind of monitor excess inventory is looking at how many units you have left. You divide it by your daily sales rate. And then anything over 200 days, we consider excess inventory. So we have a team that's specifically working on that and trying to make sure that they're getting rid of them. And that's super, super important. Like, I didn't really understand that when I first started. And this is still something that we're really working on improving in our business. But it's incredibly important to get rid of your excess inventory because it's just going to linger. And there's a lot of hidden costs to it, like the opportunity costs, your financing costs, your storage costs. Opportunity cost is a big one. All of that for excess.
So the way you get rid of it is to do what? Usually you just dispose of it and pay for disposal, or?
So no, we actually are able to launch that product a little bit better, drop the price point. We've done some stuff on Slick Deals. There's a bunch of other like off Amazon marketplaces that you can look at, like Hip to Save, Tango. Let's see, what else can you do? There's a ton of resellers that are often interested in buying the product. So, if you're a reseller, you have a different kind of margin profile usually than like a private label seller. And so a lot of the time we're able to liquidate to people that are just wanting to buy a product that's moving. Maybe it's moving 10 units a day. But for us, like we're, a larger seller, so we're looking for products that are selling 40 or 50 units a day at a higher margin. And so sometimes we're able to liquidate to them. I would say those are like probably our most common ways of liquidating.
All right. I had to liquidate something, and in the end, I decided to just donate it. And it was
really?
a hard time. It was still a hard time to find the place that would accept the donations, and then you have to ship to them. And then Amazon doesn't just ship everything at one time. They wanted the date and the time when it's going to be shipped, but I can't tell you. And it's going to come in huge boxes, 10 today, 10 another day, from all over our house.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely been stuck with inventory. Yeah. I think we've donated, or we've liquidated, through Amazon. I think they actually discontinued that program maybe like once or twice, but yeah, I think donations is a good way, but you have to pay for the removal fees, which is kind of expensive. So I guess it just depends on your COGS, whether it makes sense to take the removal fees, go through that trouble, and then get that like tax write-off. But yeah, I mean, I think, as an Amazon seller, since we know Amazon well, then the best chance to actually liquidate is actually on Amazon. So kind of looking at and making sure that you're really indexed for your keywords, trying to drop the price, maybe doing a lightning deal or a best deal, all that kind of stuff. The customers are already there. You just need to find a way to get them to buy your product over someone else's.
You seem so knowledgeable about everything. So I don't want to stick to just inventory questions. So instead of my last inventory question, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to ask you something. Because you have experience with Amazon and you got to have those sensors a little bit. What's going to work, what not, right? And there are new things popping up and some things phasing out. So could you tell our audience something that you feel is the right thing to do these days? Like what is sort of being phased out and what is coming up, something new that is, could be some trendy tactic?
I don't think, so I think the way things are moving is, actually, so historically, I think Amazon sellers are pretty lazy, and ourselves included, like in terms of like really learning marketing. And so, the like Zonblast and like Varlaunch and all of that, they made it so easy to get a product ranked. And that was, an awesome time. But now these like heavily discounted giveaways don't work as well. And so, I think that kind of gave opportunity to Rebate Key, and like that's really awesome. And who knows if they'll find a way to if Amazon will find a way to track it. But again, it's so easy. But the more challenging level of marketing is doing kind of like external marketing, right? So it's like email, text message, building out your own audiences, like really learning Facebook ads. And I think that's the direction where things are moving, is that you will have to learn that kind of off Amazon like marketing at some point. And so I think a lot of us have just kind of put it off, like learning ManyChat and all that kind of stuff. And I really encourage people to start, like, if you're, below, let's say $1 million in revenue a year, it's probably not worth it. Like at this point, like, build your team, like get some runway, get some products, like some winners on the board. But like once you're like, trying to go from 1 million to 10 million, I do think that's a really, really important skill set to start like mastering, because I think it's going to be your competitive edge in the coming years.
You mentioned a few tools since we started chatting. One was Pixelify and one was ManyChat. So you are a founder, right? A co-founder of Pixelify, aren't you?
Yep.
So how does that help? You mentioned that in the sentence related to giveaways. Is that related to giveaways then?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so what Pixelify does is it's a link shortener. So very much like a Bitly. It gives you tracking analytics, so you can see how many people are clicking on your link, where they're coming from, all that kind of demographics. And then the nice thing is that you can embed your Facebook pixel, your Google, Twitter, all of those pixels. And so basically what that's doing is anytime someone clicks on that specific link, it's dropping a pixel, so you're building out your audience. So if you're giving this to an Instagram influencer or a YouTube influencer, you can even use it in conjunction with Rebate Key. So if you're doing any type of giveaway, you're building out your audience. So like, maybe if you're targeting pet owners, you're getting more like data on pet owners so that you can retarget them really easily, which is really nice. But then the second piece is we also provide like deep links. So like that's like a huge thing. Mobile is growing increasingly like super fast. A lot of people are shopping on mobile now. And if let's say you're doing some kind of giveaway, let's say Instagram, and then someone clicks on the link, it's a crappy experience where they click on the link and then it takes them to like your web browser. You have to log back into Amazon to eventually buy it. And then so you're gonna have a huge drop-off rate, versus deep links actually will open the Amazon app, which you're most likely already logged into, so it's way more seamless. And so there's like little things like that like we provide. And then also, yeah, of course, super URLs. Like that's also what we're really known for. Our business partner, Leo, he's the founder of ZonJump. And so they have done tens of thousands of launches. And so he has a ton of data around what links work the best. And then so he took a handful of like the best ones and then integrated it into Pixelfy. So like the Supreme 2.0 is like probably our most like famous link right now. And yeah, it's awesome. We also have a search, find, buy link. But yeah, all that kind of stuff that basically helps you rank, gives you better analytics, and yeah, just makes it like a better experience for a seller.
So that's pretty technical for maybe some of my audience is not so technical. Could we go through an example more practically? Let's say I sell dresses, right? And then, so where I will use that link that you will give me. So I'll take the listing link from Amazon, convert it to Pixelfy link, just like URL shortener. And then what? Then what? What do I do with that?
Yeah, of course. So one option is that you do a giveaway on Rebate Key, right? And then, so when you do the giveaway on Rebate Key and you're getting people to buy, you need to provide them a link. So most people would just send them like directly to Amazon. But the challenge with that is that Amazon's gonna know like, oh, this person came directly to this link. And so there's not as much like, like ranking juice. But if you give them like a two-step URL or like a specific, timestamp URL that kind of masks where the customer is coming from, then you're going to rank better. The other awesome piece is that you're also able to pixel those people. So, anyone that clicks on a dress is, interested in dresses, right? Mm-hmm. And so the nice thing is that you have like, once anyone clicks on it, let's say 100 people click, now you have all their pixel data. So you could, retarget them with an ad following up like, hey, I'll pay you $20 for a review. And that's obviously, kind of questionable, like in terms of like TOS, but you could do something like that. Or if you want to just say like, you want to run an ad saying like, hey, like, do you want to like learn more about like our upcoming new products? You could run an ad specifically getting them to a Facebook group or a ManyChat list. I mean, there's basically a ton of different ways that you can start. It's really about creating the conversation with potential people that would be interested in your products. But the more people basically that click that link, then the more data Facebook has, and then the basically more targeted you can run your campaigns. And then, so just like you could do that on Rebate Key, you could do the exact same thing on Instagram with different influencers. And then the cool thing is like, let's say you're working with 5 different influencers, you can track and see like, okay, who actually got the most clicks? Like maybe this person had the most followers, but this person's way more engaged. And then, so things like that you can start tracking through our links, and just making sure that you're running these campaigns effectively, because they're going directly to Amazon. So usually you're not able to get all of those types of those analytics, right? Because Amazon's not going to provide it. And so this is a way of doing it.
I have this idea, and you tell me if that's gonna work with your tool. So in my email newsletter for my shop, I have an email newsletter to my Shopify buyers. So I have an interested people in dresses and styles.
Right.
So if I send them an email, and in the email there would be like an image, video image, they have to click and go to the video, but that would be through your link. So does that mean anyone who clicks on that link will automatically get pixeled? And then later I can say, well, because you clicked on this video about this dress, you must be interested in those types of dresses. I'm going to show you on YouTube whatever I want.
Totally can. Yep, exactly.
This is magic.
Yep. Yeah, so it's cool. So there's a lot of stuff like that we can do. Yeah, I mean, and that's just the beginning, honestly. Like, that same kind of trend that I was talking a little bit about earlier, where I believe firmly that like external marketing is going to become more and more important, whether it's through Facebook or Google or TikTok. I do think that's the trend, and so that's what we're really focused on in Pixelfy is helping Amazon sellers become better at this off Amazon marketing. And so ManyChat I think is going to be a huge huge asset to Amazon sellers that have the discipline to really learn it, because it's great for creating conversations and really like walking people through whether it's getting reviews or ranking, you name it.
So could you list me what pixels you support? Probably TikTok not on the list yet, but it's gonna make it soon.
The main ones that people are using are Facebook, Google, and Twitter right now.
Okay, Twitter as well. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah, I think that was interesting too. I a lot of Kindle sellers use Twitter, which I was not aware of. So you're learning something new every day.
Very interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Let me take a look quickly. I just opened it up. I just want to share my screen with you. All right. So because I am such a visual person, it's much easier for me to look at it visually. So there is some kind of platform attached to that, as I understand. It's not only the pixel, the link, and something else you have like on the dashboard, all of these other things. So
we have like an overall dashboard that is going to kind of cover how many campaigns you're doing, how many tracking links you have. You can see like the background where people are coming from, like the countries, things like that, all those types of analytics. And then you're able to add in your custom domains, you're able to add in multiple pixels, all that kind of stuff in the back end. And there's a lot of stuff that's kind of in development right now that we'll be announcing probably in the next few weeks. Okay. But overall, that's kind of how it works.
I'll be waiting for the TikTok pixel to come to life. Because
is TikTok good for you guys, out of curiosity?
Oh my God, have you seen what's happening these days? Like, I mean, maybe it's Gary Vee doing the whole thing, but have you seen TikTok Google trend?
I mean, I've heard of TikTok, but I haven't seen the actual.
Look at this. Last 12 months.
That's crazy.
And this is the last 30 days. And, I noticed that one of my friends just posted something about business, like, I'm online seller, I'm going to do this, 2,000 followers in like 2 days,
Really?
Okay, half of them were teenagers, but teenagers are those who are Generation Z, right? They're born with the phone in their hand. By the time they're 16, they're like Amazon sellers. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's scary. Man.
Look, TikTok is just a platform to get on right now. Just like repurpose your content, guys, or be there. I noticed a few Amazon sellers are already there. For example, there's this one guy selling ice cream accessories, like something you stick on the ice cream accessories in the bundles. I don't know, for ice cream shops. But all of his videos on TikToks are like, muscle guy, like doing ice cream, mixing the ice cream. And he's just mixing it, It's very funny. There's another guy making some wooden pieces, and he's just showing like 15-second videos of how he like polishes the wood or like fills up, and they're watching and liking like crazy. I posted some random videos completely just, sitting here talking something to myself, and like right away 800 views to one video, and it's just like, whoa. You get a lot of exposure these days because it's like the old days of Instagram. So it's time to get on it. If you're not on, I'll be the next Gary Vee. I'll be promoting TikTok a lot.
I love that. Oh man, yeah, it's really fast. I guess it's like even the younger version of Snapchat, I guess.
It is. I think Snapchat has some UI changes that has phased out a lot of the audience. That's the sense I get from the people I interview. I didn't use Snapchat myself, so It's interesting. I'll be waiting for the Pixelfy Me to adopt my TikTok.
I will. Next on the list for sure. All the teen lovers.
That sounds awesome. Great. Well, thank you very much for coming on my show today. Can you give us one last tip? We always ask for a goodbye tip, something to move people to be motivated today.
So like I try not to have regrets. But one of the things that I just really recently thought about is, so my business partner and I almost got into the space of like eBay and Amazon back in 2011. And then we got jobs at this like really awesome startup. And because we were so busy with that startup and like really focused on like, trying to do well, we ended up kind of abandoning that business. And then we didn't get back into the space until 2015. And so of the people that we know that ended up doing well back in like 2011, a lot of them are massive, massive businesses. And we're pretty confident that if we had, joined back then, we'd probably be 5 times, 6 times bigger than we are now. And so it's hard to like regret because, we learned a ton at that startup and everything. But in retrospect, I really do wish we had started back then. And so I think there's like honestly no better time than now. Like, and I would highly, highly recommend everyone just kind of jumping off, the diving board and really kind of getting in, even if, you do like lose money on the first one, and it's very possible. You're investing into a business, and it's still so much cheaper than getting your MBA, and you're going to learn so much more. So overall, I think it's a great time to get in.
I like that you said the diving board. Just today I listened to his Gary Vee video, and he says, now the tide is coming, and just get your effing surfboard and get on it and ride it, don't sit.
I like that. Yeah.
And you just mentioned the board also, so it was interesting.
Yeah, I guess great minds, thinking about boards.
That's right. All right. So thanks so much for coming today, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks so much, Paulina.